Hi everyone, welcome to the Flip Collaborate session for Assessment 1B for the presentation that you'll be organising within a few weeks. I'm just going to spend some time going through the details of the assessment. Hopefully you'll get a chance to listen to this and then create and post some questions together on Thursday evening at 8 o'clock. So we have about 12 slides, so I'll just make my way through. Hopefully you pick up enough detail to get a fairly good synopsis of what's included. So what we're going to cover. We'll look at the rationale on the assessment, the relevant learning outcomes, the overview, some potential issues and some support resources. So our learning outcomes. First thing, we're looking at learning outcome 1, where you critically analyse the teaching of literacy across the curriculum. Learning outcome 5, design effective communication using a range of media as appropriate for specific education purposes. The aim and the purpose of the assessment is to provide you with an opportunity to, and I've got a few things coming up here, so let's have a look. Demonstrate your understanding of the relevant literacy demands and dimensions and differences in ages, stages and literacy levels of students in the classroom. So that's the broad overview. Apply strategies based on research to support developing the relevant literacy skills in students needed at the expected levels as outlined in the literacy dimensions and capabilities within the Australian curriculum. Recognise the school and state level frameworks that may also need to align with. Present a strategy and recommendations in a video and an oral presentation format. This will allow you to demonstrate your personal, verbal and digital literacy skills and to demonstrate your ability to present to others within professional context, a key skill for professional practice and gaining confidence as a teacher. And once again, I'll provide the slides for you to refer to because I know that my screen has covered up a couple of words there, so that will become available. Okay, the task requires you to present a teaching strategy relevant to the research you undertook for Assessment 1A. Specifically, this means that you will evaluate the key concepts and determine the literacy support strategies appropriate to the teaching context. By responding to the scenario of the Assessment 1A part, you will develop and present in a video an improvement strategy based on your team's response. The strategy will support Sean's teaching team with the implementation of the science unit described within the scenario. So in essence, you're taking it one step further. Ideally, you should be identifying and detailing steps that clearly demonstrate how the teaching team would approach the planning and implementation. This could include discussion on the Dufour or Mazzano planning approach, inquiry approach, Bloom or Gardner planning, and strategies such as the teaching and learning cycle, vocabulary, writing genre, literacy dimensions, conventions, and demands of teaching literacy. Skills that you will need in order to successfully complete this assessment include, and this is what we're looking for, your ability to research teaching strategies, activities and the resources to support the scenario, including the specific science content that teachers need to know related to Level 3. You'll also need to show that you can analyse and have evaluation skills for the scenario and findings from the team assessment and analysis of additional information, including the setting of goals and targets that relate to the discussion made in 1A. That includes clear articulation made from the team findings. Synthesising and applying information to construct new ideas and strategies relevant to the scenario, communication and presentation skills to communicate information in relevant ways to specific audience. That includes things like verbal cues, non-verbal cues, professional but relaxed demeanour. An understanding of the teaching and learning cycle to demonstrate how the strategy aligns with this. And your ability to use digital technologies, including video recording devices and YouTube. Thinking about the higher level, so the distinction to the high distinction end, which is also, of course, what you're all aiming for, I would be expecting you to really have articulated a deeper understanding of the concept. So this would include things like clear steps that expand and justify the approach while aligning to what was suggested in Assessment 1A and connecting this to a cycle and specific strategies. The steps could be effectively used by other teachers, enabling them to feel confident. Those who have really been conscientious, you may be able to develop a strong presentation that introduces a cycle and then highlights one or two specific strategies that would support the literacy learning, highlighting these at the relevant points in the cycle. You could also have things like a clear evaluation and judgment to note when the strategy may or may not work, or ideas for scaffolding, further support, relevant to DeForce questions of what to do when students don't learn it. A clear understanding of the role of the PLT and how the demeanour and approach should be supportive and collegiate, therefore professional yet relaxed, aiming to be empathetic to teachers but provide clear, useful and practical strategies. It also means using language that is not judgmental. For example, it may be about framing to say X suggests one way you could try this, or a strategy I have found to be useful, rather than do this and don't do this. It may be something that you've experienced, and the more effective the professional learning team is often based on the relationship the team has and whether they're able to be constructive and suggest ideas in a way that supports teachers. Okay, some possible challenges and tips. I would really make sure that your strategy is clear, that it's specific, well developed and concise. The task is only a 3-minute presentation, so squeezing all those things in is going to be the challenge. Ensure that you cover the key items in a very clear and concise way. Ensure your strategy is aligned to the scenario and the audience. Make some clear checkpoints from Assessment 1. Refer back to the findings and agree general approaches from 1A. So this is, once I've said already, it's the next step, so making that very clear distinction. Your individual strategy should align to this unless you have strong justification not to. So you may have found something that suggests a more effective approach. Feel confident regarding your knowledge. Use your understanding of the PLC from week 3 and the teaching and learning cycle to frame your strategy and give it clarity. This may mean reading ahead to incorporate the cycle mentioned in week 7. And I really encourage you to undertake further reading over the consolidation period to utilise this and further develop your presentation. So go ahead as far as you need to. The use of digital technologies. Hopefully you've already used these in other units and from the activities from weeks 6 and 7. I encourage you to develop your personal digital skills, as this will occur because as teachers, when we're using or helping students to work in the classroom and using ICT, it's really common and lots of things need to get done a lot of the time. So whether it's logging in or troubleshooting, there's a range of things that you need to be able to support the students with. This will give you a deeper understanding and skill with unpacking the various literacy demands. The learning materials and readings from 4 to 8 will support the learning outcomes of student skill development towards your assessment. And some further resources that you may find useful to draw upon or direct students to are these videos about PLCs. So there's the DeForce, the YouTube clip, and there's another one on professional learning communities. So I will make sure that they're available within the documents. And I'll pop up a few other things that I find just to make things accessible for you. So I'll do that within the next few days. So, next step, please post any further questions on the discussion board or save them for the Collaborate session, which is a question and answer forum this Thursday at 8 o'clock. I'm looking forward to watching your presentations in a few weeks. It's a really nice way to assess. So, enjoy it. Take the time to develop something really special that you may even be able to use for your interviews, or it can be a really useful assessment. Okay, thanks very much. Talk to you soon.